Political Art started last year, August in 2011. And I just came up with the idea of wanting to implement a piece that had a mixture of contemporary dance and acting and music, and use the people that I knew to make sure we get different platforms across London, and also make sure the show was substantial. So I started it with myself and a few other people. And then I got Jodie, who I've worked with previously on a few projects, to get involved as well, and she was up for it.
I first started performing when I was really young, so I would say probably from the age of 5. I went to college in London, obviously, City and Islington College, and that's where I pursued more of the performing arts side of things. There's other things that I do besides dance. I'm delving into music at the moment, so I'm going to be not so much rapping but doing a chat kind of thing as well. So in the future I'd like to bring my performances with political arts, because we like to work with different artists and stuff, and because I'm an artist myself, it'd be quite nice to merge the two together and see what comes from it, because we are all about giving the audience different aspects of performing arts and not just keeping it to just one sector, which is just dance or theatre. We like to bring all of them together and submerge them and just give our audience something different to look at and something different to hear as well.
From day one, I knew I wanted another male dancers in it as well, and male dancers are so hard to find in London. I don't know where they all are.
Yes.
Good ones as well, yeah. So I put out a casting call on all different online websites, and I found Luke, and I was so happy because I felt like he was the missing piece of the puzzle. And then we've been doing hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of rehearsal to make sure it's perfect and amazing, because there's so many companies out there who put on shows, how can I say this diplomatically, that aren't very good.
Mediocre.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that we're of a high standard, and that you could put our show in a West End production, you could put it
anywhere,
in Broadway,
really. Yeah.
Anywhere. It would work anywhere, and it'd be a high quality, high standard, fun, dramatic, substantial show.
I started dancing properly about September last year, when I went to university to study dance. From there I met a couple of people who been dancing for quite a while, who mostly street dance. Started training with them, got in touch with them, and started dancing a crew of them called Assassins, or Crew. So yeah, we're based in High Wycombe but also do like London shows. Then I saw on a website Marlon put an advert for political arts and needed a male dancer. I got in touch with him and had an interview. Next minute we spoke for like in about an hour. We really connected, started going to rehearsals and just loved it. Loved dancing with him and Jodie, and loved the message that we're trying to put across. Well, I think what really works well together, how we all work really well, is because we've all got different backgrounds, so we can all bring different things together to make a piece where it's not just going to watch street dance, not going to watch contemporary, not going to watch acting, and we can all direct each other as well in different areas, and it gives us a chance to learn other things as well. So it's here, my contemporary has got much better my acting through these two, my flexibility, learning things like that, which is obviously good for us as well, because it makes us all diverse for one, and it makes our show as strong as possible.
We're all in the industry professionally, we're all trained, we're all teaching, we're all performing as individuals.
And we try and involve different aspects of dance and theatre and physical theatre as well. We don't try and just stick to contemporary, we try to mix everything in with street, because Luke basically does a lot of street, try and mix in a bit of African. We still keep it with the basis of having contemporary dance, but try and get everything else involved as well.
Our company's ethos is about communicating social, political and personal issues that are taking place in the world today, and we do that by using different artistic forms. So we use dance, contemporary, African, street, we use acting, ensemble acting and monologues. We try and use music from mainstream and less mainstream artists as well. And we just mix it together to try and create a fun, entertaining, dramatic, slightly over-the-top show which appeals to different ages, religions, it doesn't really matter. It's just a show for every single person, the everyday person, Joe Bloggs walking down the street. We don't want to create a show that's elitist, that's only for rich people or people who are highly educated. We want to try and get back to the grassroots So I'm from North London, Tottenham, born and bred. And I want to try and create shows that are for people like me, people who didn't really get the opportunity to go to the Royal Opera House or didn't get a chance to train with the Royal Ballet Company, but still have an interest in art. And I personally believe that art is the most powerful medium in the world to communicate ideas and messages. And it's very important that we use that in a positive way to try and highlight issues that are taking place in the world. And that's what we're doing, basically. Yeah, and today we're performing in association with Siobhan Davis Dance and Watch This Space, literally right in front of the National Theatre. So we're performing our piece, which is called The Prisoner, which is a 20-minute long set which features contemporary street dance, physical theatre and acting. It's open for interpretation what the actual piece is about, but it's very substantial. That's what I always wanted to do, a piece that had some kind of message, had layers to it. I'm not the kind of person who wants to create a piece of work which is candy floss, which tastes nice, looks nice, but then you eat it and you forget about it. I wanted to do something really substantial, a lot of gravitas, a lot of very weighty.
It's a lot about to do with stereotyping, which made me look at things differently, not just in the piece, but in the outside world. So it's how people perceive you, and which I didn't realise how common that was, to be walking down the street and straight away get a label.
Yeah. Get judged quickly.
Yeah, and get judged quickly. And what's made me realise that I think this piece is so strong because it makes people see that from someone who's been in it, and it made me feel it. And then I can look at other people and I can see what they go through. And it makes you kind of more diverse a person. It makes you not want to judge people, which I think was a strong message for me personally, what I got from doing the piece as well as showing it and watching it from them to show me pieces in rehearsals.
The bit in the piece that connects with me the most is probably the whole aspect of the media. The media is definitely the most powerful medium besides art, and media affects everything and everyone. And if people don't realise that, then they're a bit ignorant. So media affects the way you think about yourself, the way you think about other people, the way you perceive the world, the way you perceive yourself. Media have so much control, and the piece really touches on that. It really emphasises the fact that we digest, literally, in the piece. We literally digest the media, and that's what, and we praise the media as well. And it's like 100 years ago, people would probably be walking down the street with their Bible, maybe 100 years ago, maybe even longer than that. Whereas now, everyone's got a newspaper, they're free. And I think that says a lot, the fact that the newspaper's free. So automatically you pick it up, you don't have to pay for it, and you're digesting all this information. You kind of don't even think, is it the truth or is it a lie? Is it someone's opinion? But you've got to remember, if someone's written something in the newspaper, it's always an opinion. Yeah, it might be a fact, but it's always tainted with opinions as well.
The fact that the media does trap each and every single person, because you do have people that are like, I'm not a part of that life, I don't watch TV, but you read magazines, you read newspapers, it's all part and parcel of the same thing. You're still taking in the same information, and at the end of the day, we all think that we're not boxed in little sections, but from what we wear to how we eat and all these types of things all have things to do with the media.
But I still think people are still a bit safe in the knowledge of, oh well, that's happened now, so everything must be okay. We'll move on, we'll forget it. But I feel like, no, if anything, that should make you realise even more how powerful people like Rupert Murdoch are, who own all these newspapers, who own all these media companies. He owns TV and books and films, and if one man has so much control and power over different people in different countries, then that's going to have an effect on you, because you're going to digest it, you're going to be consumed by it. So it's really dangerous.
I thought that they sort of fused sort of the storytelling with the dance quite well. I quite like that it kind of went from sort of them playing characters and telling a story to them doing more sort of movement dance stuff. So that was pretty cool. I thought it was had quite a hard, because they were shouting out, so had quite a hard way of telling the story, I guess, because the first thing you saw was a gun, which I wasn't expecting. But then they were talking about sort of, you're this if you're a prisoner, you're that if you're a prisoner. I enjoyed it.
I find very instructive. I think it was made for a tolerance towards anyone around us, and first of all, to be a free spirit in our world.
We're doing loads of shows. We literally did one 2 weeks ago for Big Dance at Brent Cross. We did our performance of The Prisoner and we did the African workshop, and that went really, really well. Eventually I'd love to implement live instrumentations in a lot of the work. Looking forward to the future, we're definitely going to try and connect more with more up-and-coming unsigned artists.
Yeah.
On our music at the moment, we're using music from Aruba Red, we've got Akala, and we've got Mikel Armin, who are fantastic artists. They're not massive artists, but they're so talented, so we're implementing their music into our work as well, into our choreography. And eventually, I'd love to do it live with them as well. I think that'd be fantastic.
It'd be very good for us as well.
Yeah.
And I think we can obviously offer stuff to them as well they can offer to us, and everything's just another experience for us. And well, I personally think you never stop learning, and to be asked to do that, I would learn so much from it as well.
And it'll be something different for the audience as well, because I don't think you see much of that done in this day and age, to be honest.
From our African workshop we done in Brent Cross, we had loads of good response, and we're all teachers, and we've had responses from other people asking if we do classes in different areas of dance, so like street dance and contemporary African, but all the details that you will need will be on our website.
We're online, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. All you need to do is type in political arts and you'll find us.
Get in touch, and we'd like to hear from your responses from our classes and from our shows.
We're trying to work with up-and-coming artists, like I said, musicians, but we want to try and work with different people like documentary teams, photographers who are up and coming, people who do 3D art installation. We just want to try and reach out and create platforms for artists in London, because there are a lot of platforms, but I personally feel a lot of the platforms are for the established companies, which is fantastic, but we have to make sure we have space and opportunities for the new up-and-coming artists. For example, myself, I graduated from university after doing performing arts a couple of years ago. I found it really difficult to kind of tap into getting a stage to communicate my artistic and my ideas for an audience. So that's why I decided to create my own company with my friends who are very talented.
I think because we have a message, it makes it very different to what other people do. Not saying that other people don't have something political or have a message, but that's actually where our source comes from. So it's not just us on a stage, we can actually interact with our audience as well. We just hope to take this further, really. So touring around UK, going around the world, and just taking over with political arts.
Dance,
Drama,
Physical theatre,
get involved and find us on
Facebook,
Twitter,
and YouTube. Just type in political arts.
political arts.
political arts.
Political arts.
You will find us. Get involved.